You know, the kind of January that doesn't feel like a month, more like a long, hard decision. In rural America, the wind keeps moving even when you're not. It slides across frozen fields like it has somewhere to be, and it has no interest in warming you up.
The ground is locked under snow. The garden is quiet. No green pushing through, no leaves catching light. Nothing but pale branches and stubborn stalks. Somewhere miles away, a town exists in theory, but it might as well be on another planet. There's no trip to the store you can just make because you forgot something. No supermarkets, no grocery runs. No deliveries, no refrigerators, no freezers. And yet, inside a farmhouse, you're told a family is eating like winter isn't winning.
Apples, still crisp enough to sound loud when you bite. Potatoes that haven't turned soft or sweet. Carrots and cabbage that taste like something you picked yesterday. Some days, you even hear the quiet surprise. Fresh milk, homemade butter. How is that possible?
If you're thinking the answer must be they got lucky, you'd be wrong. The secret isn't luck, it's architecture, it's planning, and it's something most people today would walk right past without ever realizing what it was meant to do. The answer is hidden beneath their feet.
You don't notice it at first. A root cellar doesn't look like a miracle. It looks like a small door, a slightly awkward entry, a patch of hillside that seems too carefully packed. Sometimes it's built under a farmhouse. Sometimes it's a little underground room tucked into a slope of land. Stone, brick, packed earth, timber, whatever materials were available.
What matters isn't how it looks, it's what it does.
You step closer in your mind, and you can almost feel it. The difference between the freezing air outside and the air inside that doesn't behave like January. Up above, the weather swings wildly. Summer bakes the fields, winter freezes everything in place. But underground, the earth acts like a buffer. The deeper you go, the more steady the temperature becomes. Less like a roller coaster, more like a slow, patient thermostat. Winter doesn't fully freeze the inside. Summer doesn't fully warm it. The cellar stays cool and dependable, which is exactly what root crops and stored fruit need. Not freezing, not warm, just right. That single detail changes everything. Without it, many vegetables either rot or lose their texture and flavor. With it, they can last for months, long enough to carry a family from harvest season into the heart of winter.
Now imagine the family's kitchen in mid-January, windows fogged by breath, a lamp burning steadily, a table set with food that feels almost unfair for the season. But that meal didn't appear out of nowhere.
January food wasn't found in January. It was prepared earlier. Summer was for growing, autumn was for harvesting, winter was for survival. Survival on purpose. This is what a root cellar turns into, a bridge between seasons.
And once you understand that, the list of food starts making sense. Potatoes, carrots, turnips, beets, parsnips, onions, cabbage. These aren't just winter foods. They're winter logic made edible. Potatoes are the kind of food that can save a family's whole plan.
When the harvest goes well, potatoes can feed people through the long stretch when fresh produce is gone. But potatoes are picky about storage conditions. Too warm, and they sprout. That means they start using up their energy, and they don't keep well after that. Too cold, and they can be damaged, turning unpleasant and reducing quality.
A root cellar solves both problems because its temperature stays steady and cool. Potatoes settle into the right environment, and instead of turning into waste, they become months of meals. You don't have to romanticize it, you just have to respect it. Potatoes were money when money wasn't available, comfort when stores were far away, and certainty when everything else felt uncertain. Carrots, beets, turnips, and parsnips, storage-ready crops. Carrots and many other roots work for the same reason. Their structure can hold up for a long time if conditions are right. They can be stored when they're harvested properly and then kept in a cool, stable space. Onions last because their outer layers protect them. Beets and turnips can endure because they're built to survive longer than you'd expect.
And cabbage? Cabbage is almost stubbornly dependable. You might think cabbage is simple because it's common, but its role is huge. It's easy to grow, easy to store, and it feeds people in more than one way.
In many homes, cabbage wasn't just eaten plain, it was transformed.
When you store cabbage in a root cellar, you're already doing one kind of preserving, controlled cold storage. But in many old farm kitchens, cabbage went further. It became sauerkraut.
That's the key idea. Fermentation doesn't rely on electricity or shopping trips. It uses time and biology. People learned techniques and families repeated them year after year. Fermented cabbage keeps longer than fresh cabbage and brings a tangy, hearty flavor to meals that would otherwise feel repetitive in winter.
So the root cellar doesn't just keep food from spoiling. It helps create food that lasts even longer. And nothing wasted isn't a slogan, it's survival. If food goes bad, it doesn't just taste worse. It affects what you can eat next month. Waste can be dangerous.
Apples, the year-round illusion. Today, you can find apples in almost any season. That makes it easy to forget what it took on an old farm. Apples in winter weren't magic fruit you pulled from a bin that somehow stayed fresh forever. They needed care. First, you sort. Damaged apples go earlier. Bruised or rotten apples are trouble because a single bad one can spoil a lot of others. That's not dramatic, it's biology. Rot spreads, moisture changes. Spoilage is contagious in a storage space where many fruits sit close together. So families check their supplies constantly, not just once, over and over. Removing bad fruit wasn't optional, it was routine. Then the best apples went into storage, spaced and arranged so they could last through the season. And when you bite into one in January, that bite is really the result of dozens of small decisions made back when the trees were full. Root cellars weren't just food storage, they were peace of mind. If you've ever watched a household panic because the fridge is running low, you'll understand the emotional role of a well-stocked cellar. Every shelf represents security. Every basket of potatoes means one less thing to worry about. And it's not only adults who understand this. For children, the cellar could feel almost mysterious. Cool air, stone walls, dim lantern light, the hush of a space that seems deeper than it should be. You can almost see it. Autumn harvesting day, vegetables carried down into the earth. The cellar is where summer's work becomes winter's safety. To young kids, it feels like a secret place. To parents, it's necessary infrastructure. Some root cellars held more than just vegetables. The shelves often had jars lined up like captured months. Green beans, peaches, applesauce, pickles, corn, tomatoes. You can feel how the cellar changes from storage to time capsule. Each jar is a small project completed during harvest season, so winter meals don't have to only be plain or only repetitive. When snowstorms arrive and roads become unreliable, jars stop being extras. They become the difference between getting through winter and scraping by. Milk and butter, the dairy question. Here's a part people often assume is impossible. If there's no refrigerator, how do you get fresh milk and butter? Not every farm had the same resources, but many families used the cellar's coolest spaces to slow spoilage. Root cellars weren't as cold as modern freezers, but they could help extend freshness, especially when combined with careful handling. So the cellar wasn't just for vegetables. It could also support dairy storage in a way that made winter survival more realistic. Fresh milk is still a challenge in January, but cooler underground storage helped make it manageable when you didn't have modern technology. Eggs, another thing you'd normally just refrigerate. Eggs are another example of old solutions to modern assumptions.
Today, you think of eggs as something you keep cold all the time. In earlier times, some families used protective methods, special coatings, or careful packing to preserve eggs longer underground. The exact technique depended on the family and the materials available, but the shared idea was the same: reduce exposure to air and temperature swings, and give yourself more time. In other words, the cellar wasn't one magic trick. It was a whole system of keeping the environment steady enough that food lasted. Now, you zoom out from one farmhouse and think about what life looked like for many Americans in the early 20th century, especially during the Great Depression. Money disappeared, jobs vanished, buying food became harder, and unpredictability wasn't a rare event, it was the baseline. If you were relying on a steady paycheck to buy groceries every week, winter could get brutal fast. But if you already knew how to store food, if you had a root cellar full of potatoes, vegetables, preserved jars, winter was still hard, but it was less helpless. A well-stocked cellar could carry families through months where cash was scarce. Potatoes and preserved vegetables had value because they fed people, and food stability mattered more than luxury. So the root cellar wasn't simply a room. It was resilience you could touch. It was independence you could eat. A quick reality check. It wasn't effortless. It's tempting to picture this as cozy and effortless, like the cellar just worked because old-time people were wise. But survival systems require ongoing attention. Check supplies, remove anything spoiled, keep storage conditions consistent, handle harvest at the right time. Potatoes sprout if they're kept too warm. Apples spoil faster if you don't sort carefully. Even the best cellar needs routine. The lesson isn't old farms were magical. The lesson is that they were prepared, and preparation is work. But when the wind is howling outside and there's nothing you can buy, that work pays off every single day. Enter the modern era. Refrigerators change the game. Then technology comes along, and it changes how people think about food. Electric refrigerators spread. Freezers follow. Supermarkets expand. Fresh produce becomes available year-round. You can buy carrots in January without planning your harvest in August. When that convenience becomes normal, the root cellar slowly loses its role. Some cellars collapse, some get abandoned, some get forgotten under vines and time. And because most people today don't need them, many people never learn how they were used or why they mattered so much. Why they're coming back, and why that matters. Still, if you pay attention, you'll see root cellars aren't fully gone. Modern homesteaders rediscover them. Food prices rise, power outages happen. People look for ways to handle uncertainty. When your refrigerator stops working, you suddenly understand the real value of stable storage. Root cellars offer a low-tech option that doesn't depend on electricity. And even if you never build one, the idea is powerful. Survival isn't only about what you find, it's about what you prepare. A moment with uninhabited bag, 65 years. Uninhabited bag, 65 years, stands with you near an old hillside entrance. The wind is still present, but up close you can sense how different the air feels around the doorway. Cooler, steadier, quieter, in a way the open field can't match. Uninhabited bag, 65 years, doesn't talk like a tour guide. They talk like someone who understands what people needed, not just what people built. You listen as they describe how food used to travel, not across highways, but downstairs, into darkness, into cool air, where time slows down. They point to a shelf line, half remembered by dust and age, and the point lands without drama. This place helped people live through weather that couldn't be negotiated with. Then they nod toward the earth itself, as if to remind you that the real equipment was never electrical, it was the ground. The earth holds steadiness, an inhabited bag, 65 years, seems to say without needing more words. You just had to build for it. The big takeaway, surviving January starts in August. So when you picture that January farmhouse again,
Snow outside, no supermarkets, no freezers. You don't have to imagine miracles.
You imagine a full cellar. You imagine potatoes harvested and stored correctly, carrots and cabbage arranged with care, apples sorted and protected, jars lined up like a promise, dairy and eggs handled with whatever methods were available, the whole family working in rhythm across the seasons. The root cellar was winter storage, yes, but it was also a plan, a mindset, a way to turn uncertainty into structure. Old American farmers didn't just have food. They built systems to keep food usable when modern convenience didn't exist. And when you think about today, about storms, outages, higher prices, and the feeling that life can change faster than your shopping list, the root cellar starts looking less like an antique and more like a lesson. The smartest survival move wasn't hunting for food in January. It was preparing for January in August. Every potato stored is one less worry in the dark. Every apple preserved is one more meal you don't have to scramble for. Every shelf filled is confidence you can feel when the wind gets sharp.
And if you ever walk past an old farmhouse and notice that strange little door built into a hillside, slow down. Take a second look. You might be standing near one of the most practical inventions in American farm history, a place where generations stored the harvest and secured their future, one vegetable at a time.